dedicated to amplifying the diverse voices of our Seattle community and beyond. You'll hear a range of music, sports, regional traffic, local and national news, happenings around Greater Seattle, and talk shows including political, current events, diverse languages, and children's programming created by members of our communities. And we will continue to broadcast live from our communities. We also provide digital media training to community members to become their own content creators. Check out the CADMA page on our website. You can hear us online at Rainier Avenue Radio.world or on TuneIn. And follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Women Empowerment Talk Radio, your roadmap to business success. Tune in every Sunday at 3 p.m. on Rainier Avenue Radio.world, providing resources and sharing motivational experiences from the everyday entrepreneur. Tune in Women Empowerment Talk Radio every Sunday, 3 p.m. on Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Wash your hands, don't touch your face, wipe things down, clean up your space. When you're coughing, sneezing, do responsibly. If you feel you're getting ill, isolate at home and chill. No, you're not alone. Please pick up the phone and call 206-477-3977. King County 206-477-3977. Public Health 206-477-3977. King County 206-477-3977. Public Health Community Radio Station will provide you with more information. Say Rainier Avenue Radio. Your community radio station will provide you with more information.
No, you can't get enough of Rainier Avenue Radio. .world.
Welcome to Real Estate and Money, a half-hour program on Rainier Avenue Radio.world designed to help you whether you're a buyer, seller, investor, or renter in real estate. Your hosts are two local professionals who will escort you on your journey. Violeta Strash, who has years of media advertising and marketing experience and brings this extensive knowledge to John L. Scott Real Estate and all our clients. And Lombard, who is a mortgage loan originator with guaranteed rate affinity, with over 28 years of experience. And now here's Violeta and Tina.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine, how are you?
I am joining you from the Hyatt Regency in Wichita, Kansas.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, we decided, we've been here since last week and watching Kyle and the Seattle Studs play in the NBC, that's the Northwest Baseball Conference World Series, and they've made it to the Elite Eight.
Wow.
And they played tonight, so we had to watch them because they're actually playing in a big stadium. If you guys have followed me on Facebook, I showed some pictures. Daniel, can you show that picture of the stadium just across the river from the hotel? This is brand new stadium for that houses the Minnesota Twins AA baseball team, the Wind Search. We actually saw them a couple nights ago. Fabulous stadium. And when Kyle asked if we don't want to see them play in the stadium, it's like, no, we do. So he goes, well, why don't you stay a couple more days and watch us on Tuesday? They won their Sunday game and brings them to this stadium to play tonight at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Great stadium. I don't know if you saw if there's a picture of the inside. It's brand new. The Wind Surge just started playing here in May. And so we get to, this World Series will continue here at this field until Sunday or Saturday, actually, when it all plays out and we find out who the World Series winner is. Here's the inside from that night. And we have a good shot at this. 2 years ago, the Seattle Studs won the World Series here in Wichita, Kansas, and hope to repeat that again. So we're the defending champs. We had a loss 2 games ago, and we're going to come up the hard way and win the whole thing. That's it.
Wow. So that's what you're doing in Kansas. My gosh. That's great. That's great. Let me introduce the show really quickly, and then we'll talk about some other reasons why you're in Kansas and what we're doing. But if you're interested in finding out more about some information that we are giving you today, you want to give us a call at 206-717-4490. Again, that's 206-717-4490, or you're welcome to call us on the numbers you see below our names. But today, we're talking about relocating. And so even though Bea is over there and she's all involved in the baseball, she also was looking around because I told her that Kansas is a good place to buy homes or rental properties. So she also did her own searching for houses, which is the topic of our show today. We're going to be talking to you about buying properties outside of the state in which you reside, either to live in them or primarily for investment or second home. So that's going to be the gist of our show today. But before we get started, I think Bea's going to go through the updates, the weekly updates on the real estate market.
Can you hear me okay? I'm in the lobby of the hotel, and
you're fine.
We're checking in. Okay.
Yes, you're fine.
All right. There we go. So from last week, we're looking at King County with active listings of 524 homes, 463 been sold. The average price was $1,198,000, and last year the price was $992,000. So we're looking at a 21% increase, folks. But the days on the market is now around 20, and percent up from the percentage that these homes sold for above list price was about 4% more. So it's still, bidding wars out there. In Pierce County, we're looking at 293 active listings with 289 sold homes at an average price of $573,000, up, 9.8% from $522,000 last year. Days on the market is around 19, and percent of the list price is 3.3 over asking price. All right, and then last but not least, in Snohomish County, we're looking at 276 active homes with 213 sold last week. $739,000 was your average sold price, and last year was $674,000, which shows up as a 9.6% increase. Days on the market, 17, and percentage of the list price was 4.4. So there you have it. Taking a little bit longer on the market to show these homes, but they're going like hotcakes still. And I think the days on the market is due to people traveling. Now we're going to do a little bit of travel information, right, Tina? But
yes,
a lot of folks, their families are out there traveling around, like I'm here in Wichita. So you've been out of market, right, a few times. What have you seen?
Yeah, I traveled up to I went up to Seattle for a family reunion and a memorial this weekend, and that it's quite something traveling with COVID. It's quite different. Have you found some things when you were traveling?
Yeah. Well, as we all know, you have to mask up inside the airport for the entire flight if you're traveling by plane. And a lot of restaurants are just randomly open or not open, boarded up. It's kind of sad to see some places that we've been to before that have closed due to COVID. and not planning on reopening. So, for example, when we were at another market we'll talk about later, there were people that need to eat, and there were no groceries nearby, no restaurants after 9. And so it's kind of hard when you're traveling. You better plan on packing if you're on the road. Packing some food, and I don't think the airlines gives you anything anymore.
No, it's because they got the COVID restrictions. But I do know that when I got out of my car at the airport, I'm like, "Where's my mask?" I usually have a diamond studded mask, a gold mask, a tiger stripe mask, a cheetah mask, a blue mask.
Yeah,
I have no mask. What's going on? And so it's getting used to that and then putting it on. When I first started putting my mask on in COVID last year, it took a while to get used to have a mask on. And so for those of you that are traveling, like Colorado, we still are not required to wear masks in most places. But to put a mask back on because of where you're going requires masks is going to take a little bit of a learning curve. So be prepared for that.
It depends on the establishment, right? Whether they are requesting for you to have a mask while you're in there. And restrictions, I think we're going to all have to be masked up again.
Yeah, in Denver, they're not wearing masks. And so then you go to another city and they're like, put your mask on. You're like, wait a second, where am I? Well, you're somewhere else. But I know that when I left, so when I left in Seattle, I was running around. I didn't have my mask on a lot, and people were like, put your mask on. And I'm like, oh. I just didn't realize. But you go and there, like you said, I'm used to the hours here as far as of things being open, and I was going to Seattle, some places where we're not open. So everything is a little different. The prices of rental cars were extremely high. It's because of all the traveling and stuff that people are trying to get in before COVID shuts everything down again. So as far as traveling is concerned, you want to get to the airports. The airports are flooded. They've got so many people in the airports right now. It is no longer a ghost town. And people are like, I'm going to get my Mexico on today, or I'm going to get my vacation on today. And so you need to get to the airport a lot earlier because there are a lot of people moving around. So make sure if you're looking our topic today is going to be relocating and looking at different properties, but we just want to make you aware that if you are going to a different state, be prepared. Bring your mask and bring your sanitizers. Like V said, pack your food because there may not be restaurants open. And why don't you tell a story about packing your liquor, V?
Oh,
about being in a blue state on a Sunday.
Yeah, we were surprised because I'm not used to this. We were at a store Sunday night and checking out with a case of beer for the guys and some other alcoholic beverages. And we were stopped and said, no, we can't sell you this. It's after 8. So apparently the whole state here, you can't have... you can't buy alcohol before noon and after 8. So we went to a restaurant and drank. That you can do.
So I mean, be aware. Okay, that's all we're saying.
Or what we did on our flights, we upgraded. And so when you're in premium or first class, you can have a drink or 2 or 3 or 4 if you want.
That's thinking ahead, and the amount of juice you have is well worth the price for an upgraded ticket.
Plan on that.
And then also there are states, they're called blue states. That's an old term, but some states like here, we don't sell cars on Sundays. So Texas has got some strange things, and different states have different laws, what you can buy and sell. So you may want to think about that if you're an avid alcoholic or anything like that. So, yeah. So when you were in Kansas, you did look at homes. So tell us a little bit about that, Dee.
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble hearing.
You looked at houses when you were there.
Yes.
See how much it would cost and to buy that sort of thing.
Yeah, so I looked up one of the top real estate firms here in Wichita and went through a number of, I gave the agent the criteria I'm looking for: 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, maybe a rambler, in a decent area where you can rent or rent an Airbnb. And I was so surprised. It went anywhere from 150, and this great house that I was looking at, 250. I'm like, 250,000. I can buy a few of these.
Yeah, and they're nice too, aren't they? They're nice.
Yeah. And so I went out there and took a look at a couple of different areas that were nice residential homes. And there's a lot of things going on here in Wichita. There's aircraft and manufacturing, mainly aircraft. So if you're looking to move somewhere, one of our coaches is actually thinking about moving here. So when we get back from our break, we're going to talk about relocation. And I'll explain the process that we go through at John L. Scott, and Tina will talk about financing. You can always call Tina for any of this stuff, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay, Here we go. Let's go on break.
Tune in to Real Estate and Money every Tuesday afternoon from 2:30 to 3 here on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Join your hosts Violeta Strash with John L. Scott Kent North and Tina Lombard with Guaranteed Rate Affinity. They'll help you navigate the waters of our volatile real estate market and offer you some guidance on how to make your hard-earned money work to make your dreams come true. Learn about current trends, get tips on financial matters, and have fun, interactive discussions about your home inside and out. That's Real Estate and Money.
Okay. Great. Okay. So, so what we're going to talk about in this segment, we're going to talk about buying property in a different state, whether it is to relocate as your primary or to have a second home so you can be like a snowbird and go back and forth, or for investment purposes if you'd like to get a rental somewhere where the prices are cheaper. So that's one of the reasons. But before we do that, V is going to say a little bit about what she found, what her little interaction was when she went to go look for homes.
Well, yes, the agents are really great here. One thing that has opened up for us in Washington that it's still closed here. You cannot go to a real estate firm and just walk in and talk to someone. You got to make an appointment. But me, I knocked on the door, pounded on the door. Let me in. I'll blow this house down. And she let me in. So we had a conversation for a while, and we talked about what's happening in the area. So you want to look at what is making you move there. Is it a job, relocation? A lot of military families relocate. And if you want to move back to where you grew up, maybe you grew up here in Wichita, you want to come back. So at John L. Scott, we have a program. It's a relocation program, this division. So I can represent you locally, but I represent you through leading real estate companies of the world. I represent you globally. So we are members of this huge group of 550 companies, 4,600 offices around the world, 135,000 sales associates, and in 70 countries. And
Wow.
we run about $1.1 million, not million, just global transactions. The number of transactions, 1.1 million.
Wow.
So it's great being part of this relocation network. And this coach, one of our coaches is thinking about moving here because he's got a lot of friends here. The Seattle Studs have been in this World Series thing for the last 11 years, and he's realized that, this is kind of a neat place to be. So what's going on is, I will get a hold of someone from our relocation network. I will probably interview an agent, so I know that they'll work with my client the same way I would deal with a client myself. I will do a business or buying consultation meeting with that agent to explain to them what the client is looking for, and then every step of the way I will be notified, and I can talk to the client myself and say, hey, we're working on it. And a lot of transactions have gone through smoothly, successfully, and happily for both parties. So for him, he's got a home on Mercer Island. He won't downsize because he's a single elderly man, and we'll find the right place for him here. So that's how John L. Scott works. And then we will probably get, if he needs to get Tina involved, Tina will now tell you what the process is to go through her for relocation. Again, whether you're military, job, relocation, or moving home.
Right. So, well, first of all, when you do want to find a place, people choose a place for whatever reason. Like you said, you either grew up there, or you're working there, or you have family ties there, some type of history. Or, you live in the mountains, now you just want to move to the beach, or vice versa. Whatever the case may be, it's just, you can buy a house just like you're buying a house in your own city or state. You need to find a real estate agent, you need to find a house, and you need to get pre-approved. Now, there are different ways of getting pre-approved. A lot of times people can go straight to the bank. If you want to go straight to your bank, let's say that you bank at Bank of the United States or something like that. A lot of people, I would suggest or recommend you to go to the bank, first of all, because banks are licensed in 50 states, all 50 states. So if you went to Bank of America, for instance, you can get a loan in New York or Miami or what have you from the loan officer in your neighborhood. Okay. Now, there are other loan officers, such as myself. I work for a mortgage company, not a bank. We are not federally regulated. We went under state regulations. And I'm licensed in Washington. I'm licensed in Colorado. However, like my company, Guaranteed Rate Affinity, we're licensed all over the United States. And we can still certainly get you to somebody in New York or Kansas, so on and so forth. So banks sometimes are the first place to go if you need something right now, because they're most likely licensed in that state, no problem. So you want to get your application together. You need to find a loan officer that is licensed in that state or what have you, like let's just say Kansas. And, you find a loan officer that can get you approved in that state, because the laws, the regulations, the guidelines, and the loan limits differ per county, per state. So you want to get somebody who's licensed in your state so that they can keep you within those guidelines and those boundaries. They can approve you just as they were to approve you if you were in your own house or in your own state. After you get an approval, a lot of people ask the question, do I have to go to that state to sign papers, to do the appraisal, so on and so forth? And my answer would be no. Everything is done virtually. So you can buy a house in Kansas, like my friends have done, or buy a house in Florida or Texas or California from the comfort of your own home. As far as closing is concerned, a lot of times people send a notary to where you're at. So if people are buying homes in Colorado or Kansas or Miami or something like that, but you are in Seattle, you can actually have a notary come to your house in Seattle and sign the papers for your house in another state. So there's no reason for you to feel like you have to be physically in the state in which you're going to buy. Now, it is recommended that you do travel to the state, just like Bea was saying, because there's certain things you want to look for in that particular house. You can't just look on virtual videos, because virtual videos will only show you a small perspective of what you're buying. You want to buy something where you see everything, not only the house, the neighborhoods. You want to look at the neighbors to see if they've got cars in the street, if they're partying all night, if there's scraggly dogs running up and down the neighborhood, just stuff like that. Okay, gunfire, that sort of thing. But you want to find the history of the place in which you're wishing to buy, and also the city. You want to look at their house values historically, not in the last 3 months, but in the last 10, 20, 30 years. What's going on historically? You want to look at the economy. If you're buying in the lowest economy in the United States, and the house is only $50,000, there's a reason. Okay, if crime is up, there's a reason. If there's anything socially or economically that is negative, that is why the prices of houses are lower. Now, in our case, in Washington State, in King County, and Denver, we're the top, one of the top housing in the United States, one of the top housing markets in the United States. So to find something lower than us as far as house prices is probably normal. Kansas is probably normal. Okay, but if you go somewhere, a house of $250,000 with 3 homes, that could be the average across the United States. We just happen to live in Seattle and Denver, and we're like, oh my gosh, that's low. Well, it's not that. It's just that we're so flipping high. Okay, but if you go somewhere else that's more depressed, I'm not going to say a state, like let's just say Louisiana. I'm just pulling something out of that, and the same house is $120,000. It could be because the economy is depressed and nobody's there to actually buy those houses. So commonly, I get somebody, they'll call me, they'll say, oh, I can buy a condo in Texas for $59,000. I'm like, well, not through me, you will, because we have laws under $100,000. We just don't even you don't even need a loan. It's just not worth it. But the reason why is because you got people shooting people up and down the street. There's no economy. Nobody's got a job. Everyone's running around on the street corner, drinking or something. I mean, it's not a place to buy a house. So I have to tell people there's a reason why that condo is only $27,000. You're not going to get the rent of $1,100 a month. You're not. There's nobody there that has a job where they can afford $1,100 a month. So you have to weigh, and you have to ask your loan officer. You have to really do research on the area which you wish to purchase. Okay, so that's what I want to say there. Also, let's say that you do find a house in Kansas. Like my friend found a house in Kansas, and she had to wire like $64,000 to escrow. Make sure that when you do transfer money via wire transfer anywhere, whether it's over the state or over another city, that when you wire transfer money, that you actually get verified wire transfer instructions from the escrow company. Wire fraud is the biggest thing when you are actually sending money across state lines. So you want to be very wary of that. But other than that, it's a very, very easy thing to do. It's a very easy thing to do, whether it's a VA loan, FHA loan, jumbo loan, conforming, it doesn't make a difference. You just want to make sure that you find a loan officer or financing that is qualified and licensed in that state, and that you have a realtor that's licensed in that state, because there are laws and there are guidelines that pertain to that state that you really need to adhere to. And if you get somebody who's not from that state, there could be money lost, there could be time lost, and it could be a waste of time. So that's about it. That's about it.
Yeah. And back to the wire fraud thing, make sure you talk to your trusted agent. If you have any questions, I would say always just call your trusted agent or your escrow person. Don't just reply to an email thinking, oh, yeah, it's them. I'll do it. I'll send it. Yeah. So, maybe someone's trying to send it somewhere else. Have you send it somewhere else? No. Always confirm in person, by phone, with your people. Right. Because that's one of the biggest things that's happening these days is wire fraud. Right. And then
another thing too, I've even done it here in Colorado. There would be somebody says that they're selling a house and go look at it. They're not even the agent on the house. They're not even the owners of the house. They picked an abandoned property or somebody that's Airbnb or what have you, and they pretend that they're the leasing agent and they pretend that they're the owners. So you really need to go with a valid listing agent. That's the truth. If you just call, I want to buy a house for $375,000 in Denver, Colorado, and you look it up, and then you get somebody on the phone, they're like, yeah, I'm the listing agent, come down and look at it, and just give us $5,000 earnest money, and you can have it. Well, that may not be the listing agent. And you go to your lender and we pull title, and we find out we don't know who this John Hancock person is. He doesn't own the property. And then they're long gone with your earnest money. So that's very important for you. If you do find a house, you call your listing agent up. You call up your friend. You don't just call up and trust on the person on the other line has got your best interest, because there are a lot of fraudulent agents out there. They're not even agents. And they'll take your money and show the house, and there goes your money.
Okay, and one last thing I remembered when I was talking to the agent. We drilled down, went from 32 homes down to 6, because we looked at areas. And then the big thing was this person, you should always look for someone who is knowledgeable on a hyper-local basis. They know their market, right? And she says, oh, no, there are some areas that they frown upon people who have investment property. So they're HOAs, they're going to say, no, we don't want Airbnbs here. We don't want a rental here. So she eliminated everything. We drilled down to 6 homes. And it's like, right. Yeah. So you know your agent. I'll let them know what you're looking for, and they should tell you stuff like this.
Right. And it's really important that V was talking about get a referral. If V can't show you a house in Oklahoma, make sure she refers you. Unfortunately, we live in populations where discrimination and racism is a thing that we deal with. Some of these other places may have a problem with discrimination and diversity. They won't even show you the right neighborhoods. They won't even bring you to the neighborhoods in which you should be fine. That happened a little bit here in Aurora, Colorado. Some of the agents weren't showing people Aurora. And that's the best place to buy because they had an attitude against it. So make sure you get a referral from like V if you're going to go somewhere, because she will hook you up with a real estate agent that has a track record of embracing diversity and full representation, whomever you are, wherever you want to buy. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyways,
we're done for the day.
We're
right?
done. Yes, we are.
The Seattle Sets, good luck tonight.
Yes.
6 o'clock game or 4 p.m. your time if you want to catch it live on YouTube. But I'm here till tomorrow. I'll see you back in Seattle, everyone. Next week. We'll be back at 2:30.
And don't hesitate to give us a call. We'll see you next time. My name is Tina Lombard with a Guaranteed Rate Affinity.
And Violeta Strash with John L. Scott. Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to Real Estate and Money with your hosts, Violeta Strash and Tina Lombard. For more information, call 206-717-4490. That's 206-717-4490. Go to the Rainier Avenue Radio.world website to find the Real Estate and Money schedule, or tune in to our live show every Tuesday afternoon from 2:30 to 3. We will help you find your dream home.